deal here. Don't tell them though. All right, so let's kick into it. So first things first, guys, welcome. My name is Cesar Rodriguez, and today we are going to be talking about the reverse recruiting method. And this is going to be a training unlike anything you've ever seen from me before, anything that you've ever heard from anyone else. In my 18 years, I've never even seen anyone come close to sharing what I'm going to talk about today. So I just went live over here on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, I believe this is live. What's going on? There we go. I do have someone there. So we're getting some people on there. So I do want to say this training is going to be a little gangster. So what I want to do is I'm feeling a little gangster vibe over here. So I want to throw on the B10XB hat. You know what? Forget this. No. This hat has to go on backwards. And I do apologize up front to anyone that really wished that this package was going to be delivered and this training was going to be delivered by someone that was more like you. Maybe I'm a little bit different. Maybe I'm a little bit out of there, right? A little out of the box. And yeah, I'm going to do a webinar with a backwards hat, and I'm just going to spit some freaking flame. So get excited, get ready, because we're going to tear right into it. So what is this reverse recruiting method, and what is this thing that I've been talking about? You know, a lot of you guys, if you don't already know me, I'll tell you a little bit about my background, but I do have some slides here. I'm just going to use these for me because, like I said, I didn't really want to have, I didn't want to have I didn't want to have a presentation. I wanted to have a conversation. And what I want to do here is share something that is going to be controversial. So this whole reverse recruiting method, and what I'm going to share with you inside of this training, is how to quickly and effortlessly build a huge team very, very fast by literally doing the exact opposite of what everyone else has probably told you. Every company, every trainer, whether it be with a company or a generic trainer, just really anyone. And what's going to happen is when you're done with this training, you're going to have so many epiphanies that the way that you speak to people, the way that you look at people, the way that you build your business is going to be radically different. And I'm so excited for that because I remember that moment where I had that epiphany in my life and what ended up happening. And I'm going to share a little bit about that with you. If you are watching this on Facebook, big ups. I'm actually going live in two places. I'm doing a webinar and on Facebook. To all my Facebook peeps, if you wanted to go live on Facebook as well, so that way you guys could tag your friends, you could share this video. So I did want to throw that out there because I'm going to tell you something. Everyone that watches this training, man, they're going to have some freaking breakthroughs and some epiphanies. So let's get into it. So this and what I'm going to share, I've never shared this before, and here's why. It's pretty controversial. You know, it's actually quite controversial because it's not the norm. And as much sense as this is going to make, this is going to make a ton of sense to you. But because it's different, and people tend to fear what they don't understand, and they tend to fight things that are different, some people may take some shots at me. And honestly, my whole career, I've never really kind of wanted to do that. I've never really been like, I don't want to be too controversial because I don't want to have to deal with a whole bunch of criticism and people dealing with stuff, you know. But I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm just kind of like, and by the way, a couple disclaimers. You may, if you have children listening, this is going to be raw. This is going to be me speaking from my heart. And I don't know what I'm going to say. There may be some adult language on this because I'm going to be passionate, and I understand how to use adult language and choice words in such a way that it wakes up your subconscious mind, snaps you out of looking at your phone or doing whatever, because my goal here is to help you have a breakthrough. This is not a game, although I'm going to have a ton of fun, and so are you. This is going to be all about helping you to have a breakthrough in your business. So, up until now, and the reason why I said that is because I'm starting to feel something brewing up. I'm starting to feel some fire here. And I've just kind of never really wanted to deal with the kind of, you know, drama and any controversy or anything like that. I just wanted to do my own thing, not come out and be too controversial with people, where people don't, you know, they're afraid to send their people to me. They're like, whoa, you know, Cesar might say something that, you know, here's the thing. What Cesar is going to say is going to help you make money. And at the end of the day, we have to understand that we are in business, and you have to make some freaking money in your life. And I'm talking about serious money. You have to have a war chest built up in case of an emergency. Because I can't tell you how many people, they think they're doing good until something really serious and bad happens. Like cancer, or a really bad accident, or a hurricane comes and sweeps through their city, like one just recently swept through mine. and luckily I'm okay. My house is perfect. My house is a beast, like no damage. But, this is not a game. And you got to take your business seriously because it's not going to cut it. When an emergency happens, when something happens, you don't want to have to be begging people to give you money for a GoFundMe because someone was afflicted with something really bad, or you need money really bad. And this actually happened recently to a friend, and I know he's watching. But this is the thing that I get. I literally get like messages every week. People like, hey, will you promote my GoFundMe? This thing happened. And it's just like, man, the best thing that I can do is to help to arm you right now so you are so freaking strong that money's never an issue. And that's what this webinar is about. That's what this training is about. And I want to help you by sharing something with you that absolutely changed my life. And although some of the things that I may say on here may be controversial, the one thing that will be absolutely irrefutable that you can't deny because it's just the facts is I'm a top recruiter, plain and simple, period. And I work half as hard as everyone else who tries to put up numbers that aren't even close to how many people I personally have recruited in network marketing. I'm talking effortless wins, sweatless victories. I can tell you times where I've literally I remember one time I was on a cruise, #1 recruiter, put in like 60 people like in a matter of 30 some days or something crazy like that. And people were like, wow, you must have talked to so many people. Oh my God. Like I talked to 300 people to recruit 30. Like how many did you talk to? And I remember the first time I gave the answer, and I don't even remember what it was. I remember literally feeling bad. I was like, shoot, I can't tell anyone that. Because when I told them my number, I was like, I think I probably talked to like 40 people. And they were like, but you recruited, or whatever it was. It was basically my closing percentage was ridiculous. It was like I recruited 60 and maybe I talked to maybe 80 people, right? So I don't get a lot of no's, and here's why, and I'm going to share this with you. But at the end of the day, I want you to understand something, that before you start criticizing anything, know the facts. And for those of you that might be saying, like, Cesar, okay, yeah, you're a top recruiter. I'm not saying this to try and pump myself up. I'm trying to say this to prove a very strong point, and that's this. What I'm going to share with you today does not have anything to do with building a blog, building a brand, having an online sales funnel, nothing like that. This reverse recruiting method has nothing to do with any of that. But here's the thing. I built my first business before social media in my early 20s, and I was a top recruiter then. So you can't say, oh, Cesar, it must be your brand, it must be your YouTube channel, it must be the fact. Matter of fact, that stuff works against me. Guys, my whole YouTube channel is like how to prospect people, how to close, how to persuade. What do you think happens when I actually prospect someone in the cold market and they go to my website? They're like, oh, wait a second, he just used that line on me. So it doesn't really help as much as you think. All right, but here's the thing. I did all of this before any brand. So if you don't have a brand, if you're not successful already, you can do what I'm going to share with you. And I was a top recruiter in my first company. And then I moved to another company. And here's the thing. I was so strong when it comes to recruiting and such a powerhouse because of what I'm going to share with you on this webinar. I want you to understand the power of what you're having, so you need to pay attention to this and what I'm going to give you. Because of this, I literally was able to start another business from scratch. I left one network marketing company to build another, and I didn't even recruit anyone from my other team because I loved my upline so much. He was like my father, Larry Gregory. I was like, you know what? I don't want to yank my whole downline over here and start building another team because that's going to hurt his check, and I love him so much. He taught me everything I know. He's my original mentor. So I just said, hey, listen, I'm going to go move over here. Don't worry about everyone. You can keep all them. They'll keep doing their thing. You work with them. I'm just going to start over here. And from scratch, I put in 102 people in 116 days using this reverse recruiting method that I'm going to share with you. And then I went on to be one of the top 3 recruiters in a company. And I was told at the time they had about 500,000 reps, and they were in 28 different countries. And I was one of their top 3 recruiters, putting in 200 plus. I was told about 200 people a year is what I averaged for several years. And I was the top recruiter, the last year that they did that award. And what was interesting is I was number 3, which I was kind of like 3rd place. But then I had someone from behind the scenes who was an insider said, actually, Cesar, they counted overall memberships and they counted group people as well. So when it comes to purebred recruiting, you were number 1. So argue whatever you want, but you can't argue the fact that what I'm sharing with you is the thing that has helped me become who I am and where I am today. And I'm going to reveal that to you. So you can argue everything else, but you can't argue the facts. So someone may take shots and say Cesar is being a little controversial, but at the end of the day, facts are facts, baby, right? So you can argue with anything else you want, argue with all the opinions, but not the facts. Oh, and by the way, I did do that part-time. I wasn't even building my network marketing full-time. So part-time, putting in 200 plus people a year. And listen, I want this problem for you because imagine that being your reality. And I'm not saying this because when you find out, guys, I want you to understand, when I first started network marketing, the first 100 people I talked to told me no. I remember being in an event within 3 months and they said, around my third month. No, wait, actually this was probably around my it was my fourth month. My fourth month in network marketing, recruited no people, and I was at an event, and Eric Worre and Jeff Olson were the trainers, and they said, put up your hand if you're going to commit to being in this Players Club thing where you're going to recruit 5, and all you have to do is get like 5 sales a month. I did not put up my hand because I was like, well, I'm not going to put in 5. I haven't put in 1 by the end of the month. Like, I'm not going to lie and put up my hand. That's where I was. To cracking the code, figuring out what I'm going to share with you here, and then absolutely never having that problem. I want you to have that moment so badly because imagine having your biggest problem, because I know a lot of you guys, your biggest problem is like, oh man, I don't have enough prospects, I'm not making enough sales, I'm not making enough money, not enough recruits. Like imagine putting in 200 plus people a year or whatever is, to me, that's what I was putting in. That's more than a person every other day. To where your biggest problem becomes not where's my next check coming from, how am I going to pay these bills, where it becomes you're getting text messages on your phone and you're going, who the heck is this person that just texted me and said, hey, I'm so excited, I just recruited my first person. And who that person is someone that you recruited 3 days ago. You already forgot their name, you didn't even lock their name in your phone number because you're moving so fast. That's what I want for you. Now you can be better with your follow-up, but that's a reality. I've gotten so many to the point where I was like, I need to slow down. I'm forgetting the people that I'm recruiting because I'm moving so fast and putting so many people in. People can't seem to say no. So that's a quality problem and I want you to have it, all right? So who here wants that quality problem? Let me just hear you. Who here wants a quality problem like that? All right, good deal. I'm hearing some... I see Billy over here saying that my video is a little pixelated. I'm sorry, Billy. Jeez, let me see over here. Let me see if I can do anything. Oh, it's looking okay. Am I looking okay? Clear over here? Yes. Okay. Let me know if I'm looking decent. I can maybe adjust the settings over here. All right, cool. Everyone's saying, yeah, they want that problem. All right, so let's talk about it. You know, because I can tell you, I turned the corner in my business because my life wasn't always like that. I mean, it was pretty bad. You know, first 100 people I talked to in network marketing, I was a 21-year-old broke college kid. The first 100 people I talked to about my business told me no, I was an idiot. I was in a pyramid scam. You know, I was never going to make it. You know, I mean, I heard it all. You know, and but I was so passionate and I was so fired up that I was like, you know what, I'm not going to let this affect me. So I built my first business completely with cold market strangers, not knowing what to freaking do, just going out there and luckily having my mentor who was really awesome at it, kind of giving me some pointers over the phone because I was long distance. But here's the thing. I made this turn, and I don't want to go too deep into my story because I want to rip into this content. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line, and this is the thing to write down right now, is the most effective positioning to have in sales or network marketing is when your prospect feels like they have to sell themselves to you. Period. That is the most effective positioning. When your prospects feel like they have to sell themselves to you on whether or not you will allow them to join their team. And I know that's completely backwards, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit here. But if you don't have that positioning, then what you are doing is called selling. It is called selling. And here's the facts. We are all very good at detecting a sales pitch. And when we detect a sales pitch, aren't you? Think about it. When someone's selling you, don't you know it? Don't you kind of, oh, you can feel it. You can feel it, right? You're on the phone or someone's talking to you and you're like, oh yeah, man, I can feel it. Like this person's selling me. Here goes. Here he comes. He's building this rapport. He's about to ask for something. Can't we feel it? And when we detect that, what happens? Our guard goes up, you know, and we quickly seek to protect ourselves. right? Because we're always so scared, like, well, what if I spend money? I don't have a lot of money. I don't want this person to get me, right? So that's how we feel when we're being sold. And here's the reality. People love to buy. And you've probably heard this before, but they hate to be sold. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold. And human beings, at this point in our life, we are unconsciously programmed to be wary and resist salespeople and to avoid making any on-the-spot purchases. We're programmed to make sure that we don't spend our money without doing our research first. Are we not? Is this a true thing? Haven't you been programmed that way? Like, oh, don't make any rush decisions. My grandpappy always said, if it's a deal today, it'll be a deal tomorrow. Got to think about it, sleep on it, pray about it. Don't we do that when someone is selling us? There is resistance. Now, however, I will say there are some different people, probably a lot of us, that we actually kind of like to be sold, right? I mean, salespeople, network marketers, entrepreneurs. Well, like, I love a pitch. What's funny is, I'm doing a webinar. I'm doing this live here. On webinars, it's kind of standard, and commonplace to give value and in a training, in a webinar, and then to not leave people hanging who want more, right? Because some people go, man, that was good, and they're thirsty for more. So you have a course, or you have some type of program that maybe you offer extra, for those that are, really looking to take things to the next level. And it's so amazing because when leaders talk amongst ourselves, and we're like, oh, you did a webinar, you sold a product, this is how we calculate the closing percentages. We're like, how'd you do? And then, usually kind of, if you're talking to a coach, they'll say, how many people did you have on the webinar at the time you started pitching? And the reason why there's that's a question is because, there'll be a webinar and you can see how many people are on it. And then as soon as you say, hey guys, how would you like to hear about something that you can buy? Or I have a product that you can purchase, or here's something that I'm selling. And all of a sudden you see all these people. This is so hilarious because we're all in sales, right? So we can talk about this. I'm keeping it real. We're just gonna have a fun conversation. And you see all these people, they drop off. They're afraid to even hear. They're like, oh my God, there's a pitch. I'm out of here. I got the free info. And they hop off and they feel like they probably won or they escaped. And it's like, are you crazy? That's the best part. If there's someone that has the balls and the influence and the skills to do a webinar and they're gonna sell something, you want to hop off of that and you're in sales? Like, why wouldn't you be studying that? Why wouldn't that be the time where your hand is moving the fastest? So I know some salespeople, that's just a different philosophy. That's for people that are winners, who want to succeed and they want to make a lot of money. And then there's other people that are just freebie seekers. But for the most part, most people are freebie seekers. So a lot of people hop off whenever they're being pitched. A lot of people, they resist being sold. But the thing is the harder it is to get money from you, the harder it's going to be for you to get money from others. So a lot of entrepreneurs and salespeople, we love being sold. I love a good pitch. I'm like, sell me, baby. Let me see what you got. But for the most part, we have to understand that we are the rarities, and the majority of people, they don't like to be sold. Yet, what are we doing? We are selling all the time. We're selling our opportunity like crazy. So we know what people don't like. We know what they hate. Let's talk about what they love. What people love is people love to qualify. People love to win. People love to be chosen, selected. Think about that. Think about the language of that. Chosen. Like, look at the language we use in our movies, like movies like The Matrix. Like, oh, this is the chosen one. This is the chosen one. Oh, he's the one. We're looking for what in our relationships? The what? The one. We're looking for that one person, and we want to be chosen by them, and we want to choose them. That is what we want. Think about what's one of the worst feelings as a kid, right? It's to be chosen when? To be chosen last, right? There's traumatic stuff that happens with that, right? It's like, oh, you were chosen last. That's like a horrible feeling to not be chosen. Think about ad copy. For ads and advertising, what are flyers and what are these people that have got millions of dollars to spend in advertising? What's the type of ad copy and sales language that they use? Hey, congratulations, you've been qualified, pre-qualified. You've been selected. You've been chosen to win a 3-day, 4-night cruise. Blah, 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 blah. Look at the language. The language is picked, selected, chosen. That is what human beings respond to. That's why these companies spend multi-millions of dollars hiring copywriters to write the perfect words, because that is what they want. Yet what are we doing as network marketers? Are we running around there being choosy, choosing people, telling them, hey, congratulations, you qualify? No, we're not. We're out there, we're not exuding that at all. And every trainer and every person that you've ever heard is telling you, hey man, it's a numbers game. Go out there, sling your opportunity around, exposure's everything. Here's the thing, what we're doing is we're out there like, you guys remember Night of the Roxbury? We're giving it away. We got these great opportunities that are better than most people's jobs, and most people's financial situations can be improved by what we have, yet we're over here running around begging. We're running around like Night of the Roxbury. You guys remember that? Where they're kind of like, hey, yeah, no, oh, you're not interested? You interested? How about you? No, hey, how about you? I mean, we're over there just giving it away. Just like, hey, please, will you take a look? Do you like what you see? Like, you want to join? Oh my God, it's so pathetic. This is how I was. This is how so many of you, how many people are like that a little bit? Let's confess. It's okay. It's okay. We can go ahead and just admit, yes, totally. Okay, so I'm getting some of that. Sheepishly raises his hand. That's right. This is what we're doing. Look, here's the deal. I want you to understand something. It's not your fault. This is what you have been taught. This is the traditional training that has been taught in network marketing for decades. It hasn't changed. You know what else hasn't changed? Our traditional education system hasn't changed a whole lot. They're still training kids for the industrial age. Show up to class, at the bell, sit down, be quiet, stand up, walk here. We're still training them to be in factories, and we're in a totally different world. It takes a long time for these changes to happen, right? There has to be like a crazy, fiery person that just comes in and shakes things up and says, guys, this is not effective. Let's change this whole thing. And I happen to be that person, I think. I've self-nominated myself. You guys tell me if I'm a decent spokesperson for this message, right? But here's the thing. And I want you to understand that we're being taught to chase. And it's not even your trainer's fault. They're just regurgitating what they've been taught and what they've been taught. And yes, if you just play the numbers, because this was my original mantra. My original mantra was from Jim Rohn. It was like, hey, make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Go talk to more people, TTMP, right? Just play the numbers, spray and pray, just machine gun it out. Whoever I hit, boom, drag that one, that's your kill, that's your teammate, But why not? Why do it the old way? There's a better way. It's more effective, and there's less rejection. There's almost no rejection. See, we're being taught to chase. We're being taught the exact opposite of the message that I'm sharing with you. We're being taught fortunes in the follow-up. Go follow up, call until they buy or die. What is that? That's called begging. That's chasing. We're chasing. Here's a fact. Write this down for your notes. It's the Cesarism. Everything you chase will run away. Everything you run away from will chase you. Yet we're doing the chasing. Do you want to be chased, or do you want to be the chased? Do you want to be the chaser or the chased? Right? It's all about positioning yourself. That's why playing hard to get works, right? Parents, haven't you told your daughters, like, play hard to get? Don't you tell your girls, don't you, hey, don't give it up too easy. Make them work for it. Why? Here's a Cesarism. This is huge. I'm going to drop this on your head hard. People do not appreciate that which is given to them easily and without effort. I could drop the mic off for that right there. That is a Cesarism, self-made quote right there for your life. All right? So here's the thing. We're running around chasing, begging, trying to sell people on, doing our thing. But if everything that I've just said makes sense, and you understand psychology, people like to buy, they don't like to be sold. Everything you chase will run away. Everything you run away from will chase you. People don't appreciate that which is given to them easily and without effort. Everything that we're doing is we're trying to get people to see. We're slinging our opportunity around. If all of that doesn't sound attractive to you, then doesn't it make sense to do the exact opposite of what everyone else is doing in the industry? Wouldn't it make sense to reverse the entire recruiting process, flip it on its head, and take you out of the selling seat and put your prospects in the selling seat so that they're treating you in their minds like you're an interviewer for a job that they desperately want? Imagine that life. Here's the bottom line and the number one thing I want you to take away out of this. the quickest and easiest, rejection-free and stress-free way to build a huge team extremely fast is to create an environment where your prospects feel like they have to sell themselves to you on why you should allow them to join. Feel that. That is it. And that's what the reverse recruiting method is all about. It's the art, science, and psychology of positioning yourself in your prospects' minds so that they feel like they need to treat you like an interviewer for a job that they desperately want. Everything else is selling. Everything else is pushing. Everything else, if you're trying to sell them, then you lose, because whoever cares the least is in control. And the minute they sniff out, that's a sales presentation, he's selling me, guard goes up, you go in the salesman category, they start standing you up, not returning your phone calls, they start treating you like a salesperson, they start lying to you, they start saying, oh, he's selling me, he's making something off this, he's getting something out of it, don't make a decision now, there's probably a catch, he's not going to tell me the truth. He's not going to tell me the truth, he's trying to make money off me. I need to think about it, I need to do my research. They start freaking out, all the guards, everything goes up. But if you're an interviewer, they're trying to sell you, and they're like, hey, I hope he takes me. Hey, pretty please, I'll be so good. You won't regret it. You won't regret it if you give me a chance. And here's the thing. That's what I'm going to spend the rest of this training, sharing with you and going into more detail on this reverse recruiting method, and why it actually is so effective, because it's literally the art and science of getting your prospect to sell themselves to you for you on whether or not you should allow them to join your team. That's what you want to do. Just imagine this for a second. Imagine how much easier and how much more fun it would be, right? Aaron knows what I'm talking about. He's over here saying this. Kendrick saying it's right over here, or Kedrick says it's right. Is this brilliant? I'm hearing brilliant. I'm stoked. You guys are feeling this. That's what I like to say. Mind blown. Ashley, what's going on? Yes, it makes sense. Boom. I want you to imagine something. Imagine how much easier and fun it would be, right? If your prospects looked at you as an interviewer for a job that they desperately want. Imagine that. Like, who's nervous? Are you nervous? No. Who's showing up late to the appointment? Not them. Maybe you. Maybe you walk in, biting an apple, and you're like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Let's get started. And they're like, hey, no problem, sir. No problem, ma'am. Yeah, I got all the time in the world for you. Imagine that positioning. Imagine if they tap dance for you instead of you tap dancing for them for a change. Imagine if they were, imagine when you go to recruit someone, and this is reality, this is my life, and it doesn't have to do with my brand, it doesn't have to do with the fact that I have a following, it doesn't have to do with any of that, because if it did, then how did I do all this when I was in my early 20s before I even had any of that, right? Before social media. How was I doing that? How was I a top recruiter before then? Without all that stuff, if that's what it is. It's not. Well, Cesar, you probably have to be successful. Well, then how did I do it when I first started to become successful? If I had to become successful already to do it, how did that work? You don't need to be successful. I'm going to share with you some things that are going to really help to expand your mind, but I want you to imagine this for a second. Imagine, instead of the current situation that you're in, your prospects are walking out the door, to go meet with you or to go talk to you, and they're getting a kiss on the cheek by their honey. Mwah, you got this, honey. And they slap them on the ass and they say, you go get them, tiger. Imagine if all of your people were positioned into an opportunity like that. You think they do research on your opportunity? You think they do any of that? No. So here's the deal. When I first stumbled on this, I want to share with you how I first stumbled on this idea and why it's possible, and a couple other things that I think are really going to help to give you guys some epiphanies. But I think some of you guys are already having these epiphanies, right? And I can't wait till I share with you kind of how, right? So when I first stumbled on this idea and this epiphany, here's how it happened. I'll never forget it. It was a traumatic situation a little bit for me at the time, because I was 21 years old, and I remember I was at an appointment doing a one-on-one sit-down in Roanoke, Virginia, in a little restaurant that's kind of like a Texas Roadhouse. I don't know what it would be now. But it was there, and they had all these cute little, 20-year-old girls working there, all the cute hostesses, and everyone working there was just cute. And here's why I'm saying and putting such an emphasis on this, because I was 21 and single, And death to a 21-year-old, single guy is to be ridiculed by cute girls. I mean, that's harsh, right? And I remember I would go into this restaurant and I would switch around all my little one-on-one presentations and where I went. And that way I wouldn't just always be living in Starbucks or the bookstore. I would kind of bounce around from place to place. And then kind of like once a day, I would have a couple of appointments back to back in this restaurant. And I remember this one time I was sitting there and I walked in, and I said to the hostess, like I usually do, table for two, please. And table for two. And then, and they're like, okay, cool. They give me my table for two. The waitress comes over, drops some water on the table. She's like, hey, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, 2 waters, please. Because my appointment's going to be coming in any minute now. And, got my appointment set. I confirmed it. I'm sitting there and the time passes. And then it's 15 minutes past. And you know what's happening, right? Who's been here before? Who's been stood up on an appointment? You kind of get to that point where you start to get a little nervous, especially when you're new and it really matters and you haven't sold anyone yet and you're trying, right? And here you are about to be stood up again. And this time it was a little bit different. I had that pit in my stomach and I was just like, man, here we go again. I'm calling the person back multiple times. Hey, where you at? Hope everything's okay. Hope you didn't get in an accident. Weak, right? Just pitiful. The old me. Hope you're okay. It's not what I really wanted to say. But I remember looking at these girls that were the waitresses. And I saw them looking at me and they started giggling. Now at the time, the way that they were kind of it felt like it was like a snicker kind of a giggle. But the way that I perceived it at that time with what was going on is I said, oh my God, they're making fun of me. They know it. I'm Mr. Table for Two, no show again, walk out with a $2 tip for my 2 drinks of water. And then, and I walk out and that's my thing. Because they've seen me get stood up there so many times, and then they're like, oh, here he goes again. Here's this loser guy coming in for his appointment again for, sure, table for 2. Yeah, right, we know what that means. $2 tip coming my way. And he's going to walk out like a loser. And I remember that. And I remember feeling that feeling. And I just said to myself, I walked out of there, I called that person up, and I got a voicemail again. And I just remember stomping back and forth and going like, these people don't even understand what I'm trying to do for them. I was like, I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to change their life. I'm giving them an opportunity to get out of their shitty situation. Like, this person thinks they got it figured. They're standing me up. Do they know who I'm going to be? Do they know who I am and what I'm about to become? Do they know what I was about to do for them? They have the nerve to stand me up. If they only knew what I had to offer and who I was and where I'm going, they would be sitting there like I was a freaking interviewer for a Fortune 100 company right in town. And they would be kissing my ass, hoping I take them on board. And then I thought to myself, wait, why isn't that the case? Why aren't people treating me like that? I'm like, because I'm not acting like that. I'm out here looking like a salesman, so I'm getting treated like a salesman. And then I started to have all these epiphanies. I started to say, well, wait, can this be done in network marketing? No, this can't. And I had all the same things because I'd see a lot of you guys are like, man, can this be done? How? Seeing in these comments, how is this possible? And then I started to think, I'm like, can this be done in network marketing? I mean, because there's the thought, it's like, no, you can't do it. There's an investment. The reason that jobs can do it is because they have guaranteed incomes and they have offices and they have structure and they have you can promise the person an hourly wage and you can advertise you're going to make this. This is like the prize. You win this hourly wage or this salary if you can answer these questions in this interview right. And then I started to think, I said, well, wait a second. That's not true. That's not true. Because if you think about it, there's companies that do interviews that have 100% commission plans. And I'm like, well, then I guess you don't need a salary. I guess you don't need this. And I was like, oh, you know what you need though? You need an office. And I remember my mentor at the time, he had an office and he used to run ads in the newspaper and have people sit in, for the office. And I was like, that's probably what we need to do. And you know what? Vector marketing, they have offices. That's how they do it, right? Vector marketing, that was like Cutco Knives. I remember I went in for an interview and I went to go to be a knife salesman for Cutco Knives back in the day when I was 19 years old. And I remember I went in that job and, it was like an interview process and they took me and then I had to pay $150 at the time to get my starter kit of knives to go sell, and then they trained me. It was like network marketing. They recruited me, but they had an office. So I was like, can this be done? And then I remembered, Cesar, why did you take this opportunity so seriously? Because when I first got started, I was working at a GNC as a 21-year-old broke college kid, and a guy named Trip Jordan came in. And the way that he spoke and the way that he kind of communicated with me and the perception that he drew made me feel like, hey, and I was being trained to work at a job, right? Like, because I was going to college, so it was like I was about to graduate. And so I was like, oh, shoot, you know what? I showed up to the interview with Tripp and his upline, which became my mentor, Larry Gregory, and I submitted a cover letter and a resume. Now, why the hell did I did that? Why did I do that? They didn't tell me to do that. Why did I feel like I needed to do that? And I was like, man, wait a second. Maybe it's not about an office. Maybe you don't need the office, because the interview that I did was at the Embassy Suites Hotel in Greensboro, North Carolina, and my mentor, Larry Gregory, drove down to sit down on a couch with me and 3 other people, and he basically did a presentation and sold all of us the opportunity. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I'm not going to get the job. I mean, these other guys, they're older than me. They were like 40 years old. They had like, I own a restaurant. And, because, right, it was like a little private business reception on the couch, right? The out-of-town mentor comes in, does the pitch for the new rep, which is the guy who recruited me. But that guy was so smooth. The guy who recruited me, he was a trainer. I mean, this guy's smoother than smooth, better looking than good looking. I mean, the guy's literally married today to the former Miss North Carolina of last year. So, I mean, this was just a smooth dude. But I thought to myself, I was like, maybe if I just use language similar to what he said, what did he say to me? But you know what? I'm not smooth. That was kind of my thing. I was like, well, because I was obviously, if I was smoother, if I was a better communicator, I wouldn't have been going 0 for 100, and I wouldn't have had all this rejection and not selling anyone my first sale for 4.5 months. And by the way, what I was selling was a $26 membership, PS. So I couldn't get a yes for $26 on an awesome program that later I've sold 1,000 of those memberships for that company. 1,000 of them. But I mean, not then. It was like, couldn't get anyone to see it. So, what I discovered is it can be done in network marketing. And what it really is I started looking at different examples. I started looking at real estate. I started looking at insurance. I started looking at fraternities. Fraternities, guys, right? People love to, they love to what? They love to buy and they love to join, but they don't like to be sold. Fraternities, what do? Right? I remember I wasn't in a fraternity, but I remember the fraternities, and I was like, this is ridiculous. People are spending how much money? Like hundreds or thousands of dollars to join a club, to be a part of a bunch of friends, to get I can be friends with all these guys for free, and then they go through something called Hell Week and hazing? How are they getting them to do this? This is crazy to me. I don't have anything against, I thought they were cool, but I was just like, I don't want to be hazed, and I don't have money to join one of those things. And then I realized, I was like, but wait, how are they getting people to try to audition to join their thing, and they're beating them up and making them go through hell just to be friends with them? And then they have to pay. So I was like, yo, fraternities can do this, and I'm offering someone an opportunity to make money for a couple $100, but fraternities are saying pay us thousands to join so we could beat you up and then you could eventually be friends with us. That's the reward. I was like, this has to be able to be done in network marketing. So I sought out on a mission to figure it out. What I discovered, and here's a couple things I discovered. Why is it so? Because why are fraternities able to do that? Because they make being a part of it special. Because they make it exclusive. They're not swinging it around to everyone, right? They're not just like, hey, everybody join our thing. We need all these people. No, they're like, hey, yeah, we got to hang out with you. Got to find out if you're cool enough, right? What's your GPA? We can't just let anyone in here. They're making it exclusive, right? They make it special. And what I discovered is, how do you do this with network marketing? Well, I discovered the secret it's not having an office, because we tried that. I had an office at one point. We ran ads. It was miserable. We had the worst of the worst people walking in like, what's the hourly? Coming in off these ads, and they were just like wanting a job, and it was pitiful, and we had all this overhead. We tried doing that probably 3 times, and each time we'd have to close the office because it wouldn't be profitable, right? And then I discovered, I said, you don't need an office. You don't need to be successful. What it is it's a language, it's a posture, it's a positioning, it's a framing. And when you learn to speak the language, you can do it without anything, right? It's a matter of using a different language that is native to the ears of somebody that would be more receptive to the language that they're used to, which is that of a job. And I got to thinking, I was like, man, so if I can position myself in that way, if I could learn this language, and let me tell you what it took to learn this language. It took years of trial and error. It took trying to play a role and then having it crumble and not work. And it was a bear. And it took me reading, because here's the thing, guys. There's two things about me. Number one, some of you may think I'm cool, right? I think I'm pretty cool. I define myself as cool. I would say that. The things that people consider cool, I tend to be good at. So I guess that probably makes me cool. But that's up for debate. One thing that is not up for debate, unequivocally, is I am a fucking nerd. I'm a nerd. Like, I nerd out on stuff. Like, when I got into this, and the reason why you guys even follow me, and the reason I have any value, is because I have read ridiculous amounts of books on psychology, on NLP, on persuasion. I nerded out when I got into network marketing. I was like, yo, I suck at this and I'm going to be awesome. What do I have to do to be awesome? I'm going to read everything. I'm going to spend all of my money, go into debt and buy anything that says personal development. Go to every seminar. I'm going to be the greatest student of this in the world. And here's the thing. I don't understand why I'm so blessed that this is how it worked out in my life. I have this crazy obsessive personality about things, but it actually does turn off in some areas. And I'm glad, because if you take this brain that like gets into something and I sink it, like when I wanted to learn golfing, I went out and I golfed and I was like, oh, hey, I'm kind of a natural. I went home and then the next day I watched 100 YouTube videos in a day on golf because I'm a nerd. So I nerded out and I learned this language that has just changed the game. And here's the thing. For those of you that are thinking, well, Cesar, sounds good, but I don't have a ton of confidence. I'm not that skilled. I'm not like you. I don't have that I'm an introvert. Well, let me tell you something. Thank God. Because thank God that I was like that too, so I can actually relate at that point, right? Here's the thing. When it comes to speaking a language, I want to ask you a question. How good do you have to be at a language to navigate it, right? You don't have to know it all, right? If you know a couple of the key words, if you do a couple things right, if you can get like 10% competency, you can survive, right? You're like, hey, where's the bathroom? Una más cerveza, right? If you can kind of get the basics, you can survive. Do you have to be smooth with your accent? No, you don't have to. You can have a horrible accent. How many people in this country, in the United States, or whatever country you live in, right? How many people have thick accents, don't speak the language, and are still successful and millionaires? Tons of them. Tons. Has nothing to do with how smooth you are. You could be choppy, but if you know the words, you understand the rules, then you can be successful. A lot of people think, well, like Cesar, is this really authentic? Because this is totally different, right? Well, I've got a company video that pretty much sells how do I position myself like as an interviewer if this thing is doing all this selling. It's like, you can still do it. Doesn't matter. Is it authentic to act this way? And to have people interview for a position to work with you? Yes. If you do it right, it's totally authentic. Because do you have to, are you under any obligation? I'm pretty sure that if you look at your rep agreement or your distributor agreement, it will say something like you are an independent rep. Independent distributor, right? You don't have to work with anyone that you don't want to. You can pick and choose who you want to work with. You can pick and choose who you decide to train, who you decide to spend time with. You can say, you want to join, but I don't want to take you. I'll let someone on my team sponsor you. You can totally do this. You are under no obligation to take anyone under your wing and to recruit them, right? None. So you can act like that if you want to. And it's 100% authentic. And you don't need to have a big brand or a following. You can do it literally, because when I go and talk to someone, or when you go and talk to someone, pick up the phone, they don't know if you have a website. They don't know that you have pretty pictures that were photoshopped and thrown on a site somewhere, right? Like, they don't know any of that. It's all how you position. It's all your wording. So the thing is, it's not about how smooth you are. It's not about how extroverted you are. It's not how successful you are. The key is to understand that it's a language, it's positioning, it's posture, but most importantly, it's a language and a methodology. And every language has its rules. And when you understand the rules of this language, and it's a delicate one, I will say it's a delicate one, to learn, because you can literally, but when you learn this language, doors open, life completely changes. But here's what I want you to understand. It is a delicate language, and here's why I say this. So much of what you're taught outside of me is completely contradictory and will get you right back into selling mode with all your prospects. And here's why I say that. Even the slightest thing, you could have the best takeaway interview style presentation. You could do everything right, and then at the end of your presentation go, yeah, so are you ready to get started? This is taught, right? This is the line. Who here's ever heard this as a closing line? So are you ready to get started? That is horrible if you're trying to do the reverse recruiting method, because you've basically positioned yourself like they need to sell themselves to you, and then you're like, so are you ready to do it? Putting all of the power of the decision making right back in their court. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, wait, it's up. I can just join if I want to. You want me to join? Hold on. No, I need to think about this now. Whoa, hold on a second. Whoa. It just got real. For a minute, I thought I was trying to win and qualify and be selected. And now it's like, I think you just told me unconsciously, my brain just picked up unconsciously that it's my decision to make now. So if it's my decision to make, it means you're selling me. That means I won already. So hold on, I need to think about this. And you could do everything right and use one bad term like that. And that could be your closing line, and then you've blown it. So it is a difficult language to traverse, but it is worth it. Holy crap, is it worth it? Because look, guys, once you can recruit like that, you can recruit unlimited amounts of people anytime. I literally have 3 checks that I get from network marketing companies. And you know why I never get terminated from a network marketing company? Because I don't recruit the people that I had in my last one. I'm like, hey, if you want to still do that. I'm just moving over here. No big deal. I'll start up brand new from scratch, and I'll be a top recruiter in the company in no time if I want to be, right? It's power. So it's so worth learning this. So it's a language, it's a methodology, and I know the big thing that a lot of people ask, and you're probably wondering, right? Probably wondering this. Okay, Cesar, this sounds awesome. I want to learn it, but learning another language is hard. I mean, where am I going to have the time? And even if I did, here's the thing, Cesar. Yeah, this might make me really good and really effective when it comes to closing, but my biggest problem is I don't have enough people to talk to. So that's what I need. I need more prospects. And here's what I would say to that. I would challenge that you don't actually really need more people. The reality is, please understand that you're not on a shortage of prospects. There are tons of prospects all around you 24/7, right? There are prospects around you in your offline life when you're walking around. They're around you everywhere you go when you're online. Right now, you guys can hop on Facebook. Guess what? All those people, prospects, potential prospects. The thing is you don't lack prospects. What you lack, there's no shortage of prospects. You just have to entertain the idea that there's maybe just a shortage of skills on your ability to prospect them and to turn them into interviewees for your opportunity. That's what you have to entertain. There's not a shortage of people. There's a shortage of your ability to know how to speak to them and how to approach them properly in such a way to where they feel special and they feel like you're the hero and you're not some salesperson. They look to you like, thank God, I've been praying for an opportunity and here you are. Oh my God. Please, 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 please will you let me work with you? Right? And to learn this language, and to learn this type of stuff, and listen, you can take what I've given you right now, some of these breakthroughs, and already start assessing how you're speaking to people. So as of right now, if you really have grabbed some of these epiphanies, you should already be starting to audit how you're speaking to people, how you're talking to people. And this is a thing that you can attempt to try and figure it out yourself. And yes, that is difficult. It is difficult to try and learn a language and a methodology by yourself. But here's the thing, learning something new doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take a long time because it's not about time. Everyone thinks that it takes time to learn something, to level up your skills. It doesn't take time. What it takes is exposure. It's about exposure. It's not about time, it's about exposure. And if you can expose yourself to a lot of information in a compressed amount of time in an atmosphere that is conducive to total immersion, right? Where you can totally immerse yourself, then you can get the kind of results that would normally take you years to achieve in months or weeks, maybe even days, just depending on what type of immersion experience you're having, right? Because that's what it's really about. It's like the Matrix download. If you could just have, boom, plugged right into the side of your brain, all the information, then guess what? Would it take you 5 years to make 6 figures from where you're at? No. If you have all the information, it's just like, I just need to now do it, and then the money's going to catch up very quickly. So here's the thing. I know this is true because everything I've ever gotten serious about, this is how I learned it. This is how I learned it. I learned it by doing these, nerding out and having these crazy total immersion experiences. And I'm going to share with you, and this is going to help you with everything you want in life. If there's anything that you want to get good at, I'm about to change your life right here. This is going to be so good. Oh, all right. Here's the thing. Everything I've ever gotten serious about and wanted to change and learn something fast, I've learned from a total immersion experience. In network marketing, for example, when I was struggling, you know what I did? I called up my mentor who lived in Raleigh, North Carolina and had a beach house in Carolina Beach, North Carolina. I actually spoke to him and I said, hey, listen, I was living in Roanoke, Virginia. It's like, look, if I pick up and move, this is how serious I am about my business. If I move to that place where you have a beach house on the weekends, will you just let me get around you so that I can just watch you talk to people? Because I want to learn how to prospect. I want to learn how to close. I want to learn how to build a business like you. I'm pitiful at it. I'm obviously not. What I'm doing is obviously not working, right? Have you ever had that epiphany? What you're doing, if you're not where you're at, what you're doing is obviously not working. You have to entertain the idea that maybe there's some new ideas, some new concepts, some new things that you could be doing. A lot of times, we think, oh, it's just motivation. I'm just not doing the work. That's all it is. It's like maybe the reason you're not motivated is because every time you go out to try and do something, you get your ass kicked, and that's not very motivating. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm just not putting in the numbers. I'm not putting in the work. Yeah, because every time you do, you're getting rejected, and it's exhausting, and it's discouraging, and it's heartbreaking. And then you're like, oh, all right, you pick up the phone, you get 5 no's in a row, and you're like, oh, man, you know what? I'm going to go, I'm hungry now. I'm going to eat. I need to relax. I need to unwind. This isn't a good day, right? It's not a motivation problem. It's a skills problem. If you had the skills and you were slaying it, you would be picking up the phone, talking to people everywhere you go all the time because it would be fun. It would be fun. The way I build my business, fun. So fun. Like, it's a joke. And this is why I said effortless winning. Like, it's like I got my legs kicked up, I'm relaxing, and I'm like, oh wait, did I just win an award here for top recruiter again? Oh, just I wasn't keeping track, just doing my thing, chilling, winning. And I want that for you. And here's how. What I did is I literally moved to North Carolina, Wilmington, by the beach, near my mentor, a city I've never been in, packed up everything, moved just so I could be around him, just so I could learn from him, just so I could get in his presence. That's called total immersion. I was like, if I could watch him and study him and have him teach me what to say and how to say it, that could help. But then I started thinking, because listen, this is my passion, because this is the number one thing, guys. If you look at everything that I have done in my career, the number one common thread that it all has when it comes to network marketing is I have learned and mastered this reverse recruiting method. How to get people to instantly feel like they have to sell themselves to me, to want to join my team, to feel like they're having to have them feel like it's such an honor if I work with them before they even know if I'm successful or not. Period. Because I had to learn how to do it that way because it was a time where I wasn't successful. It was a time where I was like, I hope they don't see my car. I hope they don't ask me where I live or what part of town, because I don't have to be super generic. Be like northwest side, because I don't want to tell them the neighborhood because my neighborhood is ghetto. Right? So who's there now or has been there? Talk to me over here. Let me hear. So here's what I want you to understand. I have been racking my brain for literally years. I've been in network marketing for 18 years, and I've discovered this thing, and after accumulating all of this knowledge, being a top recruiter in multiple companies, I just thought to myself, I was like, I need to teach this. But the problem is I just can't do it the normal ways that you teach things. And I'm obsessed with this, guys. Look at my courses. Go to my blog, CesarRodriguez.com, click on the products tab. My courses are so unique. Like I thought to myself when it came to prospecting, my Reality Networker series, who's got that? Drop comments if you guys have got that course and if you love it. The course is in my Reality Networker series, right? It's me prospecting people live and on hidden camera and giving a play-by-play breakdown of everything that I'm doing and what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. That's part one. That's one part, prospecting mastery. Then it's listen to my phone calls and how I call people, right? I do. Philip says he has all of them, loves them, right? Who do we have on the webinar? Have them all, Reality Networker, me, prospecting mastery, got it, it's gold, right? This is my brain obsessing with how do I teach the things that I know differently so that people could learn them better. I know, I'm going to show them. Then I'm going to give them a play-by-play breakdown of everything I said and the psychology behind it. That was Reality Networker. Immediate Yes Formula, my other course. I was like, okay, a closing course, psychology of closing. How do I do that? How do I really drive this? You know what? I'm going to create it like an atmosphere where I'm sitting down and talking to you one-on-one, face-to-face. You're going to get a package and I'm literally going to be talking to you just like this on camera, coaching you for 3 hours, teaching everything I know. Well, not everything I know, most of the things that I know on how to create, everything I know on how to create a presentation that gets people to say yes immediately and without objections, how to eliminate all their objections. These are my courses, guys. They're not boring. They're unique. They're different. Why? Because I'm obsessed with being the one person that can take what I have in this brain and plug it in better than anyone else into your brain so that you really absorb it. So I've created all these unique courses, and then I've had this idea for this reverse recruiting method. I'm like, listen, there's only one way to teach this thing, man. There's only one freaking way to really get it in someone's head. And I started thinking, brainstorming, how can I do it? So I started thinking to myself, when something's broke and something's not working well, how do you fix it? And then I thought to myself, my ACL. When I tore my ACL, guess what I had to do? I had to go to surgery because it was like, hey, you can't, unless you want to hobble for the rest of your life, and this is a lot of your guys' businesses, unless you want to hobble for the rest of your life, some of you need an operation. You need a surgeon to go into your business, start digging around, cutting stuff up, saying, we're going to take this thing and we're going to put this there. This is gone. Oh, this is bad. We're going to stitch this together and put you back to new, right? Some of you guys need a surgeon to go into your business and fix it because, God help you, you've just been taught so many things that are so outdated and you're following this outdated blueprint and it's just not working for you and you need someone to go in there and do a serious repair. And I thought that's how I got my knee repaired when I tore my ACL playing soccer. I had a surgeon, he went in, but he wasn't done. So I got there, laid on his table, let him operate on me, and then he was like, now, that's like the event, and that's why a lot of us, we go to events, right? We have the experience, but then I was like, but then you have to have what afterwards? Who knows it? Physical therapy, right? What do we have to do? Then we have to continually work with you afterwards to teach you and give you the correct behavior. And I thought to myself, I said, that's a great analogy for how this would have to work. I'd have to sit down with someone, I'd have to work with them one-on-one, and then I'd have to, teach them everything I know and take them out into the field and prospect and work with them and have them make phone calls in front of me and then correct them while they're making phone calls and then say, no, don't say this. Or when they get in a jam, hey, give me the phone, pick up the phone, clean it up for them, help them recruit that person. That's what I would have to do for a couple days. And I'm like, God, but then it would be over and they might slip in their bad behavior. So then I was like, then I'd have to, and this is just me brainstorming, guys. These are all the things that I came up with. I was like, but then I would have to stay in touch with them for the next couple months and work with them, check in with them, look at their Facebook messages to their prospects, say, hey man, what are you saying? Add me to that group chat. Ooh, yeah, we need to clean that up. Because that's the thing that I do sometimes for people on my team, right? There's been times where the posture and the positioning has been so bad, people bring me into a group chat and I immediately correct it. Their prospect is like, hey, what's the asking a million questions. And I'm just I get in there and it's basically I'm grab the person, I'm shake them up, say a couple things, and before you know it, the posture's flipped. Now all of a sudden they're like, yes, sir, I'm very interested in getting started. And then it's amazing. My reps are just like, wow, they're studying my words obsessively. I'm going to read these texts and listen to these voice clips that It dropped like 10 times. That was amazing. I mean, that's what it takes to teach this type of stuff, right? I can't just put it in like a regular course. Like I can't just be like, hey, here's a course, go through it for $500, $1,000, whatever. Like I've tried. So I started thinking too, and think about this, guys. If you want to learn this, think about this analogy next time. How did you learn how to drive? Think about driving. How did you learn how to drive? You learned how to drive by what? You took a class, driver's ed, right? Then you got in a car, right? Some of you guys, you're putting your 15 and 16-year-old kids in these vehicles and these weapons, right? But why do you feel safe doing this? Because you have an instructor with a brake, right? The instructor has a brake and he can grab the steering wheel. He or she can grab the steering wheel, steer you out of danger, right? That's how you learn how to drive. So I was like, that's kind of how it would have to be if I was to really teach this, you know? And I'm gonna announce something here in a second, guys. I'm gonna do something really freaking cool. I'm gonna do something so cool, so unexpected that 4 of you on this training are about to have your lives friggin' changed. So hang with me if you dare, or hop off. I don't care really. You know, I'm doing this for 4 people, so I'm just looking for the 4. I'm just trying to see who it's gonna be. It could be you, all right? Could be you. But here's the thing, driver's ed. That's what I'd have to do. I'd have to work with someone, have them be in my house, be able to grab the steering wheel, so to speak, pump the brakes if they're on a phone call, you know, or in a Facebook message and say, no, don't say that, say this. Coach them, right? I remember when I saw the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, and I saw that iconic scene where Leonardo DiCaprio decides to recruit a bunch of ragtag friends of his, right? And he recruits all these guys, and he's like, listen, there's bank and money to be made in this thing. I figured it out. I'm going to write the script for you. I'm going to give it to you. And you just read this thing. And there's that one cutscene where they're all going off of this script and they're all saying, hey, well, da, 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 and they're just saying the thing. And like everyone they're talking to is like, yes. They're all on the same sheet of music. And you know what I saw when I saw that? I said to myself, I was like, I could do that. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, that would be so fun. I have that gift. I have that skill. I'm lethal when it comes to creating pitches and stuff like that. I was like, please. Oh, I would love to just work with some people and then just go, here's the script, here's what you're going to use, and to make that my freaking wolf pack. I would just, oh my God, how fun would that be? How fun would that be? That's what I thought. My first thought was like, I could do that, and I would slay it. And the riffraff that I recruited for that deal, they would be just like the people in that movie. They'd go from nobodies to ballers on an insane level. So I thought to myself, I was like, okay, one last thing. I learned how to do this by watching my mentor. I got my business fixed. The way to fix a business, the way that fixed my ACL, right? Total immersion, ongoing training, get in front of someone, have them teach you, have you mentor. And then I was like, but wait a second, what is this really? This reverse recruiting method is a language. And I was like, how do you learn a language? What's the best way to learn a language? You think it's called going to class, right? It's going to class and taking it for 4 years. Wrong. The best way to learn a language is to fly to the freaking country that it's spoken in, get a tutor, and have that person teach you the language and then take you out in the field and start practicing it on the locals. That's how you learn a language fast. Total immersion with coaching and someone right by your side bailing you out if things don't go the way that you think they should go, right? If you say something wrong, they can sit there and they can apologize. Oh, you didn't mean to call your mother ugly. He was just trying to order a sandwich, you know, right? So I thought to myself, I was like, oh my God, I know what I can do. What if I have a 5-bedroom baller house that's still up and looking magnificent, by the way, because some of you guys have asked, you're like, hey, aren't you in that city that got hit by the hurricane? My deal is a brick house, and it was strong. It just stood there like a beast. I actually called my house. I was like, hey, what's going on, man? Are you not worried about this storm? Man, how'd you do? And my house was like, bro, I listen to you all day. You think I'm not going to be a badass with this breeze, these little raindrops? You think that's going to shake me up? My house stood there like a castle through this hurricane, and I'm grateful as hell for that. But you want to know something? I thought to myself, I got this 5-bedroom baller house, movie theater room, gym, home gym, like awesome entertaining area. And I was like, what if I've got 5 bedrooms. What if I had one person in each of my 4 guest bedrooms? I'm like, how fun would this be? I was like, what if I did an event? What if I did a retreat? Made it fun. If I'm going to do something, it's going to be fun. Not a friggin' workshop. What if I did a retreat where we went out and we had fun during the entire day? What if I did a retreat where I shared my reverse recruiting method, had 4 people over my house, and for 4 days, we just hung out, eat, sleep, and breathe this thing. Sleeping in my bedrooms, waking up together, eating delicious, healthy meals the whole time. What if I had a chef to come over to cook them some dope meals? What if I had like one of the best mindset coaches I've ever had also be there to work on their minds? What if, hold on a second, I got an idea. What if I taught them everything that I know and then went out into the streets with them and then we prospected? What if we literally worked on your business? What if you were in my house and I literally, imagine this, I teach you something, we're like, great, now you got prospecting, let's go out and prospect some people. I'm gonna be right there by your side, right? What if we went out as a wolf pack and we just prospect? And then I was there and I was like, hey, listen, next time say this. Did you see how it went awry there? Here's what happened. Here's the psychology behind this. Remember what I said earlier today? Do that differently next time. All right, let's go. Let's shake it off. Let's do another one. Right? What if I trained you in all different aspects like a Spartan warrior? And then I was like, now we're going to make phone calls. We're going to use this technique that we just learned. And now we're going to call, first I want to call people you haven't talked to in 10 years. Then we're going to call people that we haven't talked to in 20 years. I'm going to give you scripts for all of these different scenarios. Okay, now this is how you follow up on a person that's cold market prospect. What if we just did that? And I just said, hey, listen, now I'm going to teach you NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. This is one of the most advanced forms of persuasion. When you understand this and you master NLP, people will be the most fun thing in the entire universe to you, because you'll literally be able to hypnotize and program them, lead them wherever you want to go, however you want them to go. I'm going to teach you this for objection handling. I'm going to teach you this when it comes to influence. I'm going to share with you these principles. I'm going to craft your own custom pitch for your business, Wolf of Wall Street style, and we're going to go in. And then I'm going to work with you for the next 60 days to train you to make sure that we're following up and everything that we're doing is banging. But here's the problem with that. This was my fantasy. Now, I hate to disappoint you a little bit. Maybe this will disappoint you. But this was the thing that always got me, and this is why I never did anything like this. The reason I never did anything like this is because I thought to myself, it doesn't make financial sense. I could never do an event like that because it would basically, what I would have to charge for my time would be insane. It would be insane for me to do that. And it's not worth it. If I charged, I'll give you an example. And I just want to paint for you guys reality, right? I'm on a webinar. I can do a webinar. I'm doing a Facebook Live and a webinar. I can do a webinar, promote it, run advertisements to it. I didn't even run ads to this webinar. This was just a couple blasts, some stuff on email, on Instagram, and a couple email blasts. I can do a webinar if I really want to promote one, max it out with 1,000 people on it every time, and sell a product for $300. If I sell 10%, that's $30,000, right? I can make $30,000 in an hour doing a presentation, selling one of my existing products. I don't even have to make a new one, or I could make a new one, put a camera in front of me, share some stuff, drop it, sell it for $300. Everyone will rave. They'll say it's the best product they've ever went through, like they have people do with all my other courses. Am I right? You guys like my courses, those of you that have bought my stuff, right? So here's the thing. I'm like, if I can make $30,000 in an hour, what the hell would I have to charge to have someone in my house for 4 days where I'm like ripping into their business, dissecting everything, doing the surgery, like looking at their business, picking it apart, listening to their phone calls, like, hey, give me some recordings of your phone calls. I want to hear what you're saying. Okay, here's what you're saying. That's beta behavior, right? We have to do something that I call beta stripping, right? Because listen, guys, we're 1 to 2% different. We're 1.5% difference from gorillas. Do you understand this? 1.5% DNA difference from monkeys, chimpanzees, gorillas, apes. There's alphas in the animal kingdom. There's alphas in human beings, right? People, most of the time, we are littered with beta behavior, walking around, supplicating, begging, saying things that we don't even realize that just don't position you as the alpha. And now you're not a leader and no one wants to work with you. So I would have to go into people's minds, remove their self-limiting beliefs, do all of this stuff, rip out everything that's beta, turn them into an alpha, turn them into a total badass. For me to do that, what the hell would I have to charge to do 4 days and then to work with them for 60? It would be insane. And if you go to my blog right now and you want coaching, I do Power Weekend. You can see Power Weekend, if you go to my blog right now, you can buy it one time. It's $10,000 to $20,000, depending on what we're going to do for a weekend. So I was like, well, what do I have to charge for 4 days? 4 days? My coaching is $1,000 an hour. And I'm like, I kind of hope, when someone calls me for coaching, I'm like, buy one of my products. I don't have the time to spend an hour coaching you. Spend $1,000 and buy my entire reality networker bundle. Call me if that doesn't help you. Because I want leverage. I don't want to trade time for dollars. But I realized something. I was like, God, I could die at any minute. Life is short. And I'm reminded of that every now and again. Mentors, people I looked up to, friends, people pass away. And if something happened to me at this junction in time, all of this stuff that I know would die with me. And I'm also at a point in my life where I'm tired of influencing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, whatever my top YouTube videos have made or hit. I want to touch the lives of millions. And I know that not everyone's going to receive the message from me. But if I can help a couple of people if I could apprentice a couple of people and train them everything that I know and download this into their brain, what could happen to their lives could be so transformative that they could literally be in the same financial situation as I am. Never having to worry about money, having no fear ever. You're in a company, what's your biggest fear? That it's going to fold? Your company folds, you do like my buddy John, who's my upline now. He's like, all right, my company's having problems. He moves to a different company, and now he's making $1 million a year in that company. Why? Because he's got a skill that transfers everywhere. Something happens, you just pick up and go, not a big deal. Like, that's power, because there's no scarcity, because you have the skills go with you everywhere. So I thought to myself, I need to do something like this, but how I would lose money if I charge anything that, like, I would almost lose, no matter what I charge, I'd almost lose money. It would be a lot, and it's a lot of commitment to me. But I'm about to launch my B10XB brand soon. It'll be the next big announcement you guys hear from me. Be 10 times bolder. You'll see another webinar on that. The wristbands, some of the swag, and that's going to be my real big focus. Continuing to give value, of course, to network marketers, but I thought, what if I just did one hoorah that was really big, and I just said, screw it, I'm just going to change some lives, I'm going to put this program together, and I'm going to offer it out. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to select 4 people that I feel like would be ideal for a program like this, because it's going to be fun. We're going to hang out at my house. I'm going to teach you everything I know, persuasion, psychology. I'm going to teach you this reverse recruiting method. Then we're going to go out into the streets and prospect people. I'm going to be breaking you out of your self-limiting beliefs. I'm going to be dissecting your business, listening to your phone calls afterwards, following up with you, putting you in the most intense program where I'm literally going to be in the trenches working with you in your business. It's like I'm going to be like your upline. I'm going to craft you a Wolf of Wall Street style pitch. And then I thought to myself, I said, you know what if I also gave them my 6-figure automated recruiting funnel? What if I crafted a pitch for them so they could have a mini funnel like I have that has literally made me 6 figures on autopilot recruiting people for me that I don't even have to talk to. Like, they literally message me and they're like, hey, their instruction is, shoot me a text after you've signed up and let me know what package you joined with. It's like, what if I did that? What if I threw something like that in? And then I gave a person access to all of my courses, everything that I do, and they're like, you are going to be the chosen one. And I just thought to myself, I should do it at least once, just to say that I did. Just to change those people's lives, and whatever I'll mark it off as charity to me. because I don't need the money. It's going to cost me more money for the time that I put into it. But what the hell, man? It's about changing lives. And what if I did this? So I've created this program, and I'm going to reveal it to you. If you want to hear about it, continue listening. If not, and you don't want to hear about this, then that's fine. But I want to just share one thing with you before I do this, right? Because this isn't a thing that I'm going to try and sell you on. It's really not. It's a thing that, surprise, you're going to need to sell me on it. You're going to need to sell me on why I should allow you into my house and hang out with you for 4 days. We're going to be watching movies at night, hanging out, going out to the bars and clubs, prospecting there, like working together for 60 days. I got to know that you're cool and you're not going to be a square. You're not going to be like really, I don't know. I need to know. But I want you to understand something. In life, and this is one of the biggest, and yes, it is a tax write-off, Philip. Of course it is. You know, if your accountant doesn't think it's a tax write-off, you need to get a new accountant. You know, I'm just going to say that on camera. But there was this big epiphany that I had, and this was literally life-changing for me, guys. And I want to just kind of leave you with this epiphany, and then I'm going to go into this program here. I'm going to show you how you can apply. Life, we've all heard life is a game, right? Have you ever wondered what kind of game it is? What kind of game is it? People say, life's the game of life. Life's a game. You know what kind of game it really is? And I figured this out. This is my opinion. Take it with a grain of salt or take it to the bank. But life is like a video game. We're all just trying to get to the end and win before we die. And the problem is the game is not easy if you're playing by the rules. If you're playing every level the way that you're supposed to play it, because that's what everyone else is telling you to do, because that's what's normal and that's what they know, what ends up happening is you increase, if you have to play all of the levels, you increase the odds of getting beat up and dying in a video game. And the best example of this, and I'm going to date myself, and I'm going to show you guys a video that you can take a look at it if you want on YouTube, but who here remembers original Super Mario Brothers on Nintendo? All my millennials are like, what? What is a Nintendo? Who remembers that? That game was so hard to beat. I never beat it, actually. I've gotten really close. I've seen friends beat it, so I felt like I beat it because I've seen it beat next to me, right? But I've never beat it because they give you so many lives, you play, and then like, if you try to play by all the levels, you know how long it takes? Does anyone know? Take a guess. How long does it take to beat Mario Brothers? How fast do you think you could beat that game? So Jody says she beat that game 2 times. I used to play Mario several times over. Who here's beat it, and how long did it take? You know, if you play, right? Someone said, Steve, now, yeah, you can beat it. Now, here's the thing. This is a video game that literally you can go on YouTube and you can type in Super Mario Brothers Speed Run. And this game, a video game, can be beaten in 4 minutes and 56 seconds. I saw it the other day. It's amazing. This guy does not stop for mushrooms. He doesn't get big. He just chugs. And what does he do? How does he beat a video game in less than 5 minutes? It's because there are secret warps. There's a warp on the second level where you go in. It's a secret. You literally have to jump over the level, run on the roof. Who remembers this? You run on the roof, and then you drop back down, and then there's these 3 tunnels, and it says, would you like to warp to level 2, 4, or 2, 3, or 4? And you pick 4. And then you're on level 4, and you go to run, and then there's another warp, and it takes you to level 8. And you go, and you can beat the game in 5 minutes if you're a pro. I mean, this is a world record, so it might take you a little longer, but listen. Why? Because he skipped levels. And that is the secret of life. There are warps that the creators of that video game put into that game. They put warps into the game that literally were secrets that if you are bold enough to think out of the box and stop playing by the rules and stop going where you think you're supposed to, if you're bold enough to jump over the freaking level, literally out of the box, out of the level, run on the roof of the game, run on the ceiling. Just Google, just put in YouTube, Super Mario Speedrun, and you'll see what happens. The guy jumps over the roof, he goes, and he takes a warp. The creators put these secrets in these warp tunnels in the game for you to take advantage of. And I'm here to tell you that there are warp tunnels in life. There are shortcuts that will get you to the finish line and allow you to beat the game of life and win in record time. A lot of you guys are in network marketing. You guys are in network marketing, probably everyone on here. That's a warp. Think about what the alternative is. 40 years working at a job, you retire at 40% of what you couldn't make it on before. That's what most people do. True or false? That's the that's playing all the levels. Get the promotion, little level jump. Oh, you beat that level. Okay, cool. Boom, another promotion. Cool. Now you're the manager. Now you're the assistant manager. Now you're the manager. Oh, now you're the store manager. Now you're the regional manager. Here's the thing. That's playing life by the levels. And when do you finally get to retire at like 70 years old? That's the game of life most people are playing, right? But we're in network marketing. So we're like, yeah, we're in the shortcut. We're down a warp tunnel. We popped out. We can work hard for 4 years and have a better retirement in a handful of years than you would have if you worked for 70 years. We're smart. We took that warp. But here's what I'm here to tell you. There's warps within the warps. You can be in network marketing and continue going to your company events, which I'm not saying don't do. Continue listening to all the people that you've been listening to. Continue trying to learn from buying courses. And listen, my courses are awesome. I recommend anyone's courses because it's all personal development. But you can continue doing the same thing over and over again and then sitting back and going, well, why aren't I making six figures? Why aren't I a millionaire? What's going on? And you can keep making excuses and you can keep justifying it, or you could just open your eyes and say, holy shit, maybe there's a warp tunnel that is right here in front of me where I could literally go down a tube, work with Cesar for 4 days in his house, hang out with him, have a blast, do dope stuff the whole time, and pop out of that warp tunnel, walking, talking, and using all the technology and language of this reverse recruiting method and all of the other things that he's going to give me. And then I can go out there and I can build my business with his level of skills in 4 days, and then in 60 days have everything that I need to use this method, to walk around and change everything that I do in my business, to win all the awards, laughing when you're laughing on your way up the stage, going like, this is so easy. I can't believe this used to be hard. I can't believe I used to be sitting in the nosebleeds. What if this was it? I don't know. It could be. I'm so confident that it would be, but my confidence won't get you where you need to be. It's going to be your confidence. So here's the deal. You can apply for this by going to reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat. And if you go to this page, here's the deal. You're going to get, if you go to that page, you can see on the page, reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat. I'm going to have this application open for a couple of days, right? And here's what you're going to get. 4-day total immersion at my house. That would be the equivalent of 2 power weekends. If you wanted to get that, you can go to my blog. They'd be $20,000 each. That's $40,000 worth of value right there, period. For me to spend 60 days doing a deep dive in the trenches in your business, dissecting everything that you do, finding out how you're talking to your existing prospects, replacing that, working with you, coaching you, I would have to charge at least $20,000. And even then I would be like, I don't know, man. For me to give you a custom pitch, that would happen in a power day, that would be $10,000. For me to give you my 6-figure automated recruiting funnel, literally something that you'll shoot a video one time at my house, right? Shoot probably 2 videos, right? I'll tell you what to say it, how to deliver this, right? You'll throw them up on a page and you'll have everything set up to where someone can literally go there and then join your team and send you a text or an email saying, I'm in, what now? That, I mean, for me to craft that for you, do that for you, easily I'd charge $20,000. Access to all of my courses currently and future for the next year. I'm also going to include that. Why? Because the goal is to have you have a breakthrough. So I'm not going to hold back any information I have. I want you going through all of my stuff now and in the future, because this is going to be my elite team. You guys are going to be my warriors, my Spartans, the people that people are like, oh, this is one of Caesar's 4 horsemen. Back the fuck up. That person is a beast. Do you know about that person? Did you hear? Did you hear about them? Yeah, they went to Caesar's thing. Yeah, man, that was them before. Yeah, now they're not even the same person. You know? For those of you on Facebook, if you could type in the comments, reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat. reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat. What I'll actually do is I'll actually show my screen to everyone here on the webinar style, you know, but everyone on Facebook you won't. So I need you guys, someone on Facebook, be cool to your neighbors and post it, right? Post it up. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to integrate everything that I teach you with your team. So if you have an organization, 10 people, 50 people, 100 people, whatever, I'll do a training and a webinar for them to teach them once you're done with this, if you're selected, to help integrate this into your business so that they're all using the same language as well. Because it's another language, right? Thank you. Tamara, appreciate it. Laura, thank you guys for posting that. And you're also going to be certified. So you're literally going to be certified in this method so that you can teach it to other people. Do you know how powerful it would be if someone, because here's one of the things, people wonder, they're like, well, Cesar, if I'm talking to a prospect and, Brent Susan Messer, please delete that text. It's actually not reverserecruiting.com. It is reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat. Tell me if you guys are going to that link and it works. If it doesn't work, let me know. Okay? I'm going to try and type this here. Let me see if I can do this on. Okay. I'm going to attempt to type this thing /reverse. Let me put this mic down here. Let me drop the mic. reverserecruitingmethod.com. All right, /retreat. Okay. Hopefully this works. Did I type that right? reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat. All right, because that's the retreat. So guys, here's how this works. You're going to get all of this for literally $14,995. And here's the craziest part about this. You can't get me for a weekend for that amount of money. I'm going to take 4 people, and you're going to get everything I just mentioned. And here's the best part. If money's an issue, we actually have 0% financing, which means, as you can see on the page, you could actually be a part of this. If your credit is decent and you qualify, you could actually put the entire thing on a 0% financing for a year, pay the minimum payment. The minimum payment would be about $327 a month. So you could literally apply for the financing, join, pay the $14,900, and you could go from that to literally just not having to have that money, just pay it off on the line of credit a month at a time until you make enough money to pay it all off in one shot. But your minimum monthly payment would be about $327. Who here is excited about that? Who here is excited about that? I want to know who's applying. And I also want to know what questions you have. Now, I left out to everyone go to that page. I'm actually going to switch over here on GoToWebinar. I'm going to hook you guys up. I'm going to share my screen because you have got to see this if you're not on this page. Take a look at this. You guys see this? So this is the page. Okay, you can see you can go there. You can click to apply. And again, if you need the financing, you can just click the thing and and the way the financing works, by the way, is you can actually, if you just click to say that you want to apply for it, you'll get a link to it later. You don't have to take it. It's a soft pull on your credit. It doesn't even affect your credit. They have a really cool way that they explain to me on how that works. I won't get into all the details, but you can literally just see if you would apply. You could do the application, and if you get the money, then when we have the phone conversation, you can say, hey, Cesar, I did apply. I'm waiting on a result, or hey, I'm approved. I've got the money, whatever the case is, right? So you can see everything that you get here. But here's the cool thing. At this event, as you can see here on the screen, it's obviously you're going to have me as well. So this is everything that you get. 4-day total immersion training, 60-day deep dive in the trenches coaching with me, $20,000 value, right? A $40,000 value just for the immersion training, $20,000 value, me personally coaching you for 60 days and working with you in the trenches. Like literally you have a Facebook message. I'm like, add me to the group. Let me see it. Here's what you're saying wrong. Let's do a review, right? That's me doing that for you and the 3 other people that would be selected for this. My 6-figure autopilot recruiting funnel. Again, that's a $20,000 value. My Wolf of Wall Street custom pitch, $10,000 value. Access to all my future courses for all my current courses, which is you'll get about $2,000 worth of courses right away. I mean, that right there, guys. I mean, this thing's 14 grand. That's literally, you can knock 2,000 off the price right there in hard, immediate value, right? Then there is me working with you and integrating this into your team, right? Doing a webinar, doing training with them, $1,000. And then use the profits that you make from your business to pay it all off, right? You take this information, blow up, and then use it. Listen, people have a problem with, people don't understand how to use credit. It's really interesting, isn't it? Think about it. And it's not your fault. I mean, it's like, that's what you're taught in school, right? We're just taught like, credit's bad, stay away from credit cards, credit card debt, school loans. Like, no, here's the thing. Debt, it's called OPM. When you're using it for a business purpose, it's called smart. It's called intelligent. OPM stands for other people's money. If you're not using other people's money to make money, then and you're using your own and you got it like that, that's fantastic. But if you could, in this situation, for example, just saying, if it was me and I had this opportunity presented to me back in the day, I would have been like, yeah, obviously I'm gonna, get money, get $15,000, $14,000. I'm gonna obviously get that, someone else's money, pay it, pay that line of credit off, get all the information, apply it, become successful with it, and then use the future money that I have to do that. That's obviously what I would do, but that's me. That's why I am where I am, because I see things a little bit differently. And for the people that I bring on board and accept for this, I'm going to help you guys see everything in your life differently. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited for your future. But on top of this, guys, let's just talk about some fun stuff. You can see those 2 very attractive young ladies on that page, Bree and Rachel. Bree is actually the author of the bikini. She's actually a first place bikini champion. So she does like the bodybuilding bikini contest, and she's a freaking total badass. She actually created something called the Bikini Bible Cookbook. It's like so amazing. This girl will like be eating, and she's a good friend of mine. Like, I'm like, what do you eat? And she's like, oh, I'm just eating some like waffles. I'm like, I thought you were doing keto. And she's like, yeah, no, these waffles don't have any carbs and they're delicious. I'm like, what? How does a waffle not have any carbs? That's what she is. She's like a beast. Rachel's the same way. Rachel's actually a yoga instructor, one of the best coaches and mindset coaches I've ever experienced in my entire life. This is who I call to get my head right for things, when I'm like, hey, listen, I have this little voice, real small, feel like it's holding me back, and she'll just get in there and she'll be like, boom. And then I'm like, thank you very much. You're going to have her working with you at this thing, making healthy smoothies, maybe even doing yoga, because that's what she does. That's one thing she does. She's like a holistic health coach. She's like 18 things. She's amazing. And Bree is going to be cooking badass meals for you. She's also a videographer. So we may even take Bree out into the field. She's going to be doing some choice recording. We may even record some of the prospecting that we're doing, come back, look at the tapes, play them back, and kind of analyze it as a group. So there's some really dope things that we're going to do with this program for those of you that are chosen. But I just wanted to show you guys that. So all you need to do is go here, go to the page. If you're looking at this, you click the button to apply, answer these questions, and what's your company? Have you been in network marketing before? How much do you typically make? What's been your biggest struggle? And again, when it comes to the questions on the financing, it's like, hey, do you want it? Do you need it? There's a big difference. Like, hey, can you afford this without it? Do you need the financing, or do you just want it just because it's smart to use OPM? So feel free to let me know. So I'm going to go back on the screen over here. All right, cool. So what I want to know from you guys is, number one, did you guys have some epiphanies and some mindset shifts about this new way of building your business? Here's the thing. Even if you aren't chosen for this retreat, I still wanted to give you this knowledge that's been inside of me for years. I still wanted to give that to you. So did you guys receive this message? Do you understand potentially why it is that the things that you've been doing have not been working? Do you understand that it's because, you're going against the natural psychology of how human beings think, right? Everything you chase will run away. Everything you run away from will chase you. People don't appreciate that which is given easily and without effort. People have to feel like something is special and exclusive for them to want to get started. And you don't need to have an office, any success. You don't need any of that stuff to be able to start doing that right away. You can start playing with these ideas, but I will just tell you, it is dangerous. It is playing with fire. I'm not going to lie. It's playing with fire, because you can sit down and talk to someone. You can be like, well, hey, if you qualify to join my team, I'll be happy to. And they're like, you're a dickhead. Like it's like you're dancing on the head of a needle with this stuff sometimes. And it is an art. That's what I said earlier, the reverse recruiting method. It is the art, science, and psychology of getting people to sell themselves to you, so that you to try to sell themselves to you as allow them to join your team the same way they would treat an interviewer, with any big company, to give you that same respect. Show up on time, tighten up that collar, look right. You're about to be exposed to someone that's going to show you an opportunity to change your life. They should be treating you with more respect than the person that they do to get a job interview. So I want to answer any questions you have. I know one question I got in earlier. Someone said, Cesar, can you do this just with selling the product and the customers? Oh gosh, guys, the website, it's reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat. Check your comments there. I typed it in GoToWebinar. Keep throwing it in here, guys, on Facebook. I don't even know what's going on Facebook. I can only see the top half of the screen. But yeah, what questions do you guys have for me? All right, I got it. Awesome concepts. Posture. Totally been approaching. So I've been approaching recruiting the wrong way, and I understand why it's not successful. I hear you. These are fabulous ideas. I see you, Gladys, David. I see you, Playa. David, you're the best, man. Philip, what's going on? Lisa, I see you over there on Facebook. All right. So what questions do you have? Let's do a quick little Q&A. Okay. Brian's talking about how he's been playing and using elements of this method for years, right? It's a lot better, isn't it? Finished my application. Sonia, that's what's up. Well, I look forward to speaking with you. Oh, by the way, I did want to say, it's free to apply if you want it to be. But there's also, you can also put a deposit down, because like I said, I'm only going to be taking 4 people. You can put a deposit down. This is going to put you to the front of the line, and it's going to let me know that you're serious. Right? The deposit, I think it's $300 or something like that. So when you go through the application, it'll say, hey, would you like to secure your spot? And it's 100% refundable to you. So as soon as we talk, I'll refund it back to you or apply it towards your investment if we choose you. Okay? So let's see. What questions do you guys have for me? Ask away. What is the date for the retreat? That's a great question, Anthony. I'm actually keeping that open. And I haven't put a hard date yet, because I'm going to be interviewing, 4 people, right? Or interviewing a bunch of people, picking 4. And I want to make sure that I'm picking a date that works for everybody. I didn't want to set a hard date and then one person couldn't show up, So I'll have a better idea of when we're going to run this. But yeah, that's a great question. Any other questions? Are you going to offer any of this material in a program later at this time? I'm very interested. You know what? If I could, Gretchen, I totally would. But honestly, for me to really go into to do what I really need to do, this is about transformation. And this is what I call one of the best principles to learn. And this is something that I've kind of coined this name. It's a total immersion training, right? Time compression training. So that's what this is. This is the time compression training program. And I could maybe make a video, shoot some concepts, maybe try and do like what I did with Reality Networker, which, if you don't have the Reality Networker program that I have, you should probably start there, Gretchen. Go to my blog, CesarLRodriguez.com, and click on that and go through Reality Networker. You can hear me using elements of what I've said and done, in bits and pieces, but I've never tied the entire philosophy and really just kind of shared it like that before. But yeah, so that would be my guess for, if you were, I just don't feel like I could really do what needs to be done to really get this into you. because I could teach you things, but if I'm not monitoring what's going on afterwards, it's so easy for you to just use a couple lines that literally throw the whole thing off, right? And this does work for just sales too. I used to sell timeshare, and we did this entire approach. I had this entire style where the entire thing was like, they'd come in and they'd be like, oh, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not interested. And by the time it was done, they were like, hey, do you think we'd qualify? We'd really like to get this and we'd love to buy. And, do you think you could make this exception and allow us to purchase? And we'd really like to get something on the ocean front. Like, that was the entire thing that I did, and it was so unique. And that's why I was a President's Club top selling, rep there, and never selling. Like, top sales, never selling. People were selling me on why they should buy. I have an expiry date for the application. There should be a little clock at the top of it, right? There's a clock at the top of the page, reverserecruitingmethod.com/retreat, right? So that's the page. Let me just see if I got any questions on Facebook. Okay, let's see here. Okay, yeah, we have to sell ourselves to get to one of your spots. Yeah, obviously. I mean, and that's not, and listen, what's interesting is I say this and people sometimes think that maybe it's inauthentic. Like just in the sense of when I'm now recruiting someone, it's not an act that they have to sell themselves to me. It's legit. It is legit. I'm like, because I know what I have to give someone. So I'm like, hey, I have an opportunity. Why would I want to work with and mentor you? Like, you're going to have, so if you join this thing, you're going to have unplugged access to my cell phone. If you join my network marketing team, like, whoa, who are you? And why should I allow you to have that? Like, that's real confidence that I have in myself and what I have to offer when I'm working with someone. So it's not BS any more than me saying, hey, yeah, you are going to have to audition for one of the 4 spots at my house. It's not, because I'm not trying to spend a bunch of time with you for 60 days if you're not going to be hungry, if you're not going to be coachable, if I feel like you're going to be argumentative, if I feel like you're going to be really stuck up or kind of weird, I'm like, we're going to become friends, man. We're going to be like homies. Like, I'm selective as hell when it comes to the people I surround myself with. I know a lot of people, but my circle, I have multiple circles. I have one circle is like my Christmas party circle. You can come to my Christmas party. I let like my top 80 friends come to that, right? But if I'm like, hey, we're playing cards at my house, that's like, you better be in like the top 8, right? If I'm doing something like this where I'm going to be working with you all the time, I got to make sure that you're going to be a good fit for this and that you're really going to get results. Because you know what I don't want? This is going to be my freaking 4 horsemen, right? These are going to be beasts that I'm going to be working with and training. I'm going to be grabbing stuff out of your brain, deleting it. I'm going to be working on fear, self-doubt, anxiety, approach anxiety, talking to people, talking to anyone, gone. This is my specialty, guys. That's what I do. I banish weakness. I make people hard, and I make them fun. I work with their minds. Rachel's going to be there with me doing that as well. I need to make sure that I've got good material to work with. Because if I'm going to build a sculpture, think about this now. If you're going to build a sculpture, what do you want that sculpture to be made out of? Do you want it to last? If you want it to last, you know you're going to carve that sculpture out of marble or granite. If you were going to create a masterpiece, are you going to carve it out of marble? Are you going to make sure that your starting material is marble or granite? Or are you going to make your masterpiece a sand castle? If you're trying to make a masterpiece with sand castle, you better take a picture, because the minute it gets windy or the tide rises, your masterpiece is gone. And I need to make sure the people that I'm working with, they're not made out of sand. I need granite and marble to start with. Then I can build someone that's going to be an absolute beast. All right, so let's see. We got Billy applied. Yeah, if you guys applied, let me hear you. Somebody said, did you win your B10XB lawsuit? Absolutely. Yes, for those of you that don't know, I can't say publicly, but I probably shouldn't even said that publicly. But yeah, some other company thought that I had a logo similar to theirs, not even close. And the thing's dismissed, it's over with. So that's why I'm able to launch B10XB. That'll probably happen next month. All right. When will you have the 4 individuals picked out? That's going to depend. I'm going to be having conversations, over the next week. I've got this cart open for I don't know how many days, 4 days. I thought it was a little longer. That timer might be off. I'm going to find that out here because I'm going to be running through a lot of people here. I can see just from people saying, yeah, I'm applying. Does it work in tandem with the immediate yes formula course? Actually, if you have my immediate yes formula course, we're going to craft you an immediate yes formula presentation at my house. And a lot of you guys have heard in my immediate yes formula me talk about immediate yes mastery. You're going to receive immediate yes mastery personally. I'm personally going to give you the advanced immediate yes formula part 2 of that training that I never got a chance to film, right? So big ups, Philip. Appreciate you hanging on, buddy. I hear you saying that it's late and you got to go to bed. I do too. Never cease to continue amazing me. Thank you so much for whoever said that. I finished the application, but after doing the complete application, it popped up a 502 bad gateway. Did anyone else have that? Billy? All right, let's see here. I'm going to message this to my dude. All right, cool. So listen, Facebook. I love you guys. I'm going to probably hang off this thing here. Hang this up. As valuable as usual. Awesome opportunity you're offering. Happy Cesar when I can't go. Okay, let me see. Saw someone saying something. Masterpiece marble or granite. You love that. Okay. Reverse recruiting. Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I have it. Will this training be available to review? Maybe. We'll be applying tonight. Tried twice, repeated the error. Oh, Billy's getting that. Okay, cool. So message me directly if you're having a problem applying, and that's it. But guys, thank you so much. Love you guys. Appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and call it an evening. Unless you guys have any more questions for me. I don't think that you do. But appreciate you hanging with me. Such an honor as always. I hope you got some amazing breakthroughs. I know you did. I know some of you guys did. And, I'm excited for the future for all of you, and I'm glad that even if you're not chosen, for what I'm doing here, this retreat that I'm putting together, even if you're not chosen for that, I still am very excited for you in your future because I'm still going to continue working with you, giving trainings, plugging in. So continue staying on my list, continue watching my stuff, and I will help you the best that I can from this distance. All right. Thank you guys so much. Take care. And have an awesome, awesome day. All right, let me turn this off. Bye, Facebook.